Liverpool have smashed Manchester United yet again, this time by 3-0, and in this video we're going to break down how they did it. To understand how well Liverpool did from a tactical point of view, we need to better understand what Manchester United were trying to do from a defensive point of view. So, with Manchester United's defensive shape, they opted for a 4-4-2 out of possession. This is different from their man-marking system that they applied last year, and the main problem that this creates for Liverpool is the prevention of both Gravenberch and McAllister to get on the ball. Now, when Manchester United were out of possession, they opted for Zekko and Fernandes to be those two forwards, who would either drop off towards the attacking midfielders for Liverpool or decide to go and press. The problem that United had from the very start is the lack of real discipline that Fernandes and Zekko had. This gave Liverpool a real good chance to play through the lines and get it through to McAllister and Gravenberch. And once this happened, the ball would then be turned over and transitioned very, very quickly, isolating Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro, who were the two main defensive players for United, meaning that most of the time there would be overloads, whether it be a 3v2 or a 4v2 if Jota dropped a little bit deeper. It's through this progression that Liverpool really started to get a foothold in the game, and Manchester United really did struggle. To try and combat this, Mainoo and Casemiro ended up getting a little bit more aggressive. This pushed them onto the midfielders for Liverpool, but again, there was a major problem, and that was in the form of Dominic Szoboszlai. Moving over to this left-hand side, creating an overload onto Casemiro, it meant that there was always going to be an option off of the ball for the Liverpool outlets. And it meant that time after time again, Liverpool would continuously get out, and Casemiro was completely outrun and completely overwhelmed. Now, this meant that Liverpool continuously got out of the Manchester United press, and even if they did start to struggle and give the ball away, they had enough players behind the ball to be able to recover possession once more and go again. It was through this tactical approach that allowed Liverpool really to get a major foothold, and then when you're looking towards them going forwards and starting to get towards the box, they were absolutely clinical. Now, Liverpool's approach was seen early on in the game, and this really does highlight it so well. So you've got Gravenberch driving past both Mainoo and Casemiro. This completely takes out Manchester United's midfield, and then what have you got left? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 up against 4 Manchester United defenders, and it just continuously overwhelmed that United back four. Progressing the play forwards, you've got so many options for Gravenberch. He could play it right, he could play it left, he could even play it through the channel if Jota decides to spin. So many different options. And as this play progresses, we see Liverpool making those correct decisions, something that Manchester United just failed to do on a number of occasions. Whenever they got into any kind of attacking situation, Luis Diaz makes a brilliant run down the wing, and he also gives an option for Gravenberch, who managed to drive through the heart of this Manchester United defence. Playing the ball through to Diaz, it gives him two options. Because of the weight of pass, it allows him to either go to the near post, go to the far post, or even play in across. He instead decides to be unselfish and play in across to the rest of his teammates. It gets deflected out, and we have Trent Alexander-Arnold out of the back post ready to make a tap in. It unfortunately was offside, but it was a sign of things to come, and it really did get a lot better for Liverpool. But it's not just from a defensive point of view that Liverpool managed to get the upper hand on Manchester United. From a defensive point of view, Liverpool were phenomenal. Opting for a really narrow, closed-down midfield approach prevented Manchester United from playing through the midfield. And what United like to do is drop Casemiro between Martinez and De Ligt. Now, what this allowed for them to do is push their fullbacks really high. Mazraoui and Dalot then occupied the wide areas, allowing for Rashford and Garnacho to then push towards into the space in the centre of the pitch. Bruno Fernandes drops from his more attacking role and becomes another midfielder with Kobbie Mainoo. The problem that United had is when Liverpool decided to be really compact, they stopped the space from going through the centre of the pitch. They couldn't find Mainoo, they couldn't find Fernandes, and then they had the ability and the understanding to be able to cut out those passes out into the wide areas. This led to one of Liverpool's goals, and it was brilliantly executed by Ryan Gravenberch, who decided that he wanted to jump on a pass from Casemiro. It was intercepted, and then Liverpool were on their way. It was this defensive approach along with their offensive capabilities that allowed Liverpool to not only dominate Manchester United, but also give them a whole heap of problems to try to deal with. It really was a masterclass in so many different ways. And in the end, they made Manchester United pay for their poor passes, but also Liverpool's brilliant defensive setup. Look at how narrow they are. That's the first thing I want you to notice. Look at how narrow they are. Really close, really tight in, and this is to prevent Manchester United from playing through the centre of the pitch, forcing them out wide because they have faith in the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Konate to be able to deal with any kind of physical aerial presence that might come their way from crosses. Not to mention the fact that it also gives them extra time to get back once Manchester United decide to go wide to then come back in. Now, watch what happens with Ryan Gravenberch here. He is really alert. He's taken to this defensive midfield role that Arne Slots has given him in this season. But also, look at Kobbie Mainoo. He's gesturing to Casemiro, who is currently on the ball, playing a pass to calm it down. Casemiro really does need to be taking a look at him. He really is at fault because the rest of his team is not ready for him to try and play a pass. You can see what he's trying to play. He's trying to play that through into this left-hand side here, but the pass is not on, and that's because of the awareness of Ryan Gravenberch, but also the narrowness of this Liverpool midfield is extremely difficult and risky to play that pass, and that's something that I would say about Manchester United players. They are too eager to play those percentage passes, especially those low percentage passes. Yes, it might come off and look very good if it does, but if it doesn't, you're putting your team in a whole heap of trouble, and that's exactly what happens here. Kobbie Mainoo is not ready to receive the pass, and obviously Diogo Dalot isn't either. Ryan Gravenberch ends up intercepting this, and Liverpool make the most of this opportunity. And just look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, all ready to go, all sprinting. And it makes it so difficult for Manchester United to try and deal with. You've got a 5-on-3 here. This is incredible. All down to that poor percentage pass that Casemiro ended up playing. Now you're wondering, can Liverpool score? Can they be clinical? Can they make the right decision? And Gravenberch, once again, this time does make the correct decision, finds Mo Salah, who dinks it towards the back post, and you've got not 1, but 2, even 3 if Jota wants to spin in behind. 3 in the box, ready to receive a header. It brilliantly worked. And of course, you've got a free goal. Just fantastic from Liverpool. Liverpool might have a different coach, but they are still as aggressive as ever, just like they used to be under Jurgen Klopp. Once again, what have we noticed? We've noticed how narrow this Liverpool defence is. Manchester United currently have the ball, and the ball is being played over to Casemiro, who is going to turn into a whole heap of trouble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one player here as well. 6 Liverpool players within his vicinity. Now, what he wants to do is turn and take the space just in front of him that's around here, but it's so dangerous to do. He's unaware of his surroundings. He's not ready to try and play that moment. He's not ready to play that pass, and instead Liverpool pounce on it. Luis Diaz pounces on it. He's ready to take that ball from Casemiro and then put Liverpool in another fantastic high pressure situation closer to Manchester United's goal, taking that opportunity. It's really well done. It's not a foul at all. I don't know who might say it's a foul, but it's absolutely not a foul, and it progresses and Liverpool start to go forwards. And once again, what have you got? You've got 4 Manchester United defensive players here, but you've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players ready and willing to go forwards and take that space. Football is all about overloads and taking space, and Liverpool did that brilliantly in this game against Manchester United. Once again, what have you got there next? They've turned over the ball, and now it's about taking space, equal space, making sure you've got options. You've got 1 here, you've got 2 here, and you can also drive at the heart if you want to. That's the third option. But what happens? It gets played through, and it goes to Mo Salah. Now, this is exactly the position that Mo Salah wants to be in. You're in a 1v1 situation against Diogo Dalot, who is not necessarily a left back. He normally applies his trade as a right back, so automatically he's in a disadvantageous situation. Mo Salah drives at Diogo Dalot, but instead of actually taking him on, he plays a brilliantly weighted pass into Luis Diaz, who opens up a little bit of space. It's brilliantly worked, and it's a world-class pass from Salah, who gives Diaz a fantastic opportunity to shoot towards the bottom right-hand corner. And again, all of this happens because of Liverpool's tenaciousness, because of their aggressiveness. If they weren't as aggressive high up the pitch, willing to make those turnovers, this wouldn't come about. And it's just brilliantly done. Finally, let's take a look at the last goal that Liverpool scored to make it 3-0, and this might be the best one yet from Liverpool. So what have we got in this situation? We've got Mazraoui playing the ball through into Mainu, and what's happened is McAllister has decided to jump. He's jumped because he's isolated and understood the situation. Toby Collier, who has come on for Casemiro, has taken up a more attacking point of view. You've got Bruno Fernandes as well, so you've got one midfielder, you've got two midfielder. Kobbie Mainoo is very isolated. Yes, he could recycle back, but what have you got here? You've got 1, 2, 3 Liverpool players in front of his own goal. So it's almost encouraging him to not play these passes, to not try to play it through because it's dangerous. So he needs to hold on to the ball. What happens is McAllister reads this. He reads this and then jumps from his centre midfield pivot position and tries to be aggressive. It's in this situation that Kobbie Mainoo needs to try to react a little bit better. Instead, he tries to shield the ball, but McAllister's strength is too far. It's too much. He bullies the teenager and then takes the ball off him. He turns over the ball and then is able to drive towards the Manchester United goal once more. And if you're a Man United fan, what I'm about to show you next is terrifying, because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Liverpool players driving towards the goal against 2 Manchester United defenders. And then once more, it's about whether Liverpool can work the opportunity well enough. And what have you got? Well, first of all, instead of looking at the obvious option, which is to go to Mo Salah, you've also got an option to go to Luis Diaz. You can also play it through into Diogo Jota, who's currently on the run. So many different options for Liverpool, and this was the main difference. The difference was when they got into opportunities, they knew the different options to take. They knew the correct option. Of course, there were different ones, but they chose to go for Mo Salah, their main goal scorer, their world-class player, and it's then a question of can he finish? And of course he can. He fires it into the bottom right-hand corner, stopping any kind of option for Andre Onana to save, and Liverpool go 3-0 up. It was a masterclass from start to finish from Arne Slots men, and it is one of the best possible starts to a campaign that a Liverpool manager has had, I'm sure. They haven't even conceded a goal yet. But my question to you guys is, how good could this Liverpool side be? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.